This isn't a game, Lieutenant.
Imagine it's 1994 and you've just paid $900 for a 3DO. Well, you'd want something to play on it that actively featured everything that the console was marketed as being. A multimedia giant. After all.
If it's a movie, you can be a character in the movie.
So, I want Hollywood-style productions that I can control straight from my living room. And above all other early 3DO games, Shockwave really delivers this experience. Playing a rookie fighter pilot named Wildcard, you're tasked with punching through alien defenses, performing precision strikes on prisons, flying straight into a tube, and other exciting acts of aerial defiance against the invaders. The first thing that strikes you about Shockwave is how easy it is to control your fighter. Everything feels incredibly smooth, from the punchy, fine-tuned bursts of acceleration used to dogfight to the substantial tactile explosions you cause with everything from Hellfire missiles to tactical nukes. There is an important and often overlooked fundamental of game design that often gets missed during this period, and that's that the game should feel nice to pick up and play, and Shockwave really nails this. Combat is reasonably exciting with a great radar system to keep track of enemies, and although flight corridors are reasonably linear, they do open up from time to time, and in context of you being a military pilot, being on a set flight path to meet mission objectives does make sense. There is a degree of variation in the enemy fighter designs, and although they go to great pains to explain the differences between these in cutscenes,
these craft clock in at almost 65.
They're tough as hell, but not very stable.
Now, this is an anti-aircraft. These are supply transports.
This heat-seeking fighter.
in practice they're really just fodder for you to blow up, with little variation. There are 10 main missions in Shockwave, and EA did an impressive job for a first try to make the gameplay as varied as possible from mission to mission. That said, there's really only one part of the game that feels particularly novel compared to the rest from a gameplay perspective, and that's when you have to fly into an egg tube. For the most part, objectives boil down to fly forward and kill things, or make sure something doesn't get killed. While I don't mind this kind of straightforward action game, I do have to play devil's advocate and say that if you prefer more meat on the bones of a game, there isn't much more to it than this, and it could have been longer.
This is a nightmare.
Every mission is bookended with melodramatically acted science fiction scenes like something from a public access Babylon 5, and I really love this. I miss when, despite knowing nothing about filmmaking, developers tried to be filmmakers and you get to see the end result. And it should be noted that Shockwave does a better job than most of injecting FMV into the core game. Like Killing Time's use of FMV ghosts that were integrated into the environment, Shockwave plays video of comms you're having with other pilots, your command ship the Omaha, or even news reports detailing how you just decimated alien forces in the previous city. The decent presentation extends to the in-game graphics as well, with really nice satellite-style imagery for the ground, well-modeled and textured polygonal buildings and enemies, and a pretty smooth frame rate. Shockwave actually does a pretty good job of balancing the set-piece moments from the pyramid shooting light into the sky in Vegas to the volcanic crater in Hawaii. Because the game is mostly valleys and flat expanses, when these things do roll into view, they have more of an impact, and it's very clever. The one issue I have with the graphics is the horrendous sky. Untextured and resembling some kind of amorphous Venusian cloud. The sky in Shockwave is bland and ugly compared to the competent environments. A simple skybox or something would have resolved this concern. Beyond that, there's not much else to Shockwave. There's a training mode, high score screen, and Elvis is hidden in one of the buildings in a level. If you've never played this game before, the best way to play it for me is on 3DO. It just feels right. It plays smooth, looks nice, and has a great mini science fiction movie baked into it. Highly recommended for ace pilots everywhere.